out to dinner a few nights ago, and then we went and walked around the Capitol and stuff, and I did Twitter a photo of it. He's a really interesting fellow, really smart. He wasn't even sure he wanted to do an interview. He just wanted to meet and talk to me. I mean, I talked to him over the phone and stuff before that. And the reason I tell you this story is it resonates with the fact that there is a giant awakening happening. And Billy said the same thing. He said, just 5 years ago, I heard no one talking about the New World Order or the Federal Reserve or, you know, poison in the water or global government. And he said, now, all around me at restaurants and all over, I hear it, hear it in elevators. That's what I'm saying. See, those of you out there who aren't a radio host or TV host, you're feeling like you're alone. I want to tell you something. You're not alone. That's why I say it's important to wear an Infowars.com t-shirt or a Ron Paul shirt, something that, or in the Fed shirt, something that, wear your colors so people can identify. That's why bird species will have a red dot on them. That's so birds of the same species can see that and tell, oh, that's a male, that's a female. That's why militaries wear uniforms, why the police wear uniforms. We need to go out there and get those radar pings, because I'm not here giving you a pep rally, because I'm giving you what I believe is veritas. I see through a rose-colored darkly, a scanner darkly like everybody else, but I think my darkly is a little bit thinner than some. And that's my goal in life, is to make that darkly thinner and thinner and get as close to real reality as I can get. I am in love with reality. I am in love with creation. And I'm in love with doing the right thing because it feels good in my soul. When I risk my life and my name to fight tyranny, it is fulfilling. I even know that if I get arrested and set up and my name destroyed and horrible things said about me, that is going to be fulfilling. I don't look forward to being tortured if that happens, but that is the fulfillment of the powerful resistance to evil. That is the pay dirt. That is the, and I'm telling you, I'm delivering the goods. So are you. So is Jim Mars. When you talk to somebody, even if they don't look like they woke up then, it may take 20 times before they wake up. It may take like a seed you plant one year, a bulb. I had some bulbs I planted like 2 years ago, and they didn't sprout. And then I was going back by the old house I lived at, and I saw that they had sprouted. I'd moved. I'm like, wow, that's those bulbs that didn't sprout. But 2 years later, they did. Because there's finally some rain. I guess that's the side issue. I need to go back to Jim. It's just I'm like a person at a buffet. I get all these guests on because I want to talk to them and think they're neat, and then I've got all these points I want to make. Maybe I turn it into a 5-hour show. I guess I've kind of done that with the nightly news. But the point is it is always darkest before the dawn. But I'm here to give you the good news. There is a giant awakening. The bad news is the evil knows that and is, well, just like Jim just said, it's going more crazy now. The system, in the face of this, is just going wild. And like he said, in the Nazi bunkers, not just at there in Berlin, but at others, there was sex, partying, delusions that they were going to win, imaginary armies. And it's like Nero or Rome. I mean, I'm seeing craziness. Just a few years ago, the elite were more scared. Now I think they realize they don't control stuff like they thought. So now they're just going into crazy land. Jim Mars, you've got the floor on that subject. Guys, we need to fade him up. I'm sorry. Go ahead and start over, Jim.
Oh, am I on?
Yeah, you're on. Go ahead.
I tell you what, the one that's blown me away is Defense Secretary Leon Panetta goes to Afghanistan, and they disarm the Marines around him. They made them stack their arms, and they wouldn't let him get anywhere near him with weapons. And I was in the military, and the thing they drum into your head incessantly is, you don't do anything. You don't go to the bathroom without your weapon handy, okay? You just don't do it. And they disarm the Marines around Panetta. Who is he scared of, okay? I mean, what more do you need? That they disarm our own troops around the defense secretary because they know the troops are beginning to figure out that 2 and 2 is not 5.
You know, I think you're right. I started the show with this today. The magnitude that the Associated Press, London Telegraph are all reporting and admitting that, and the Pentagon admits the troops cannot be trusted. Well, that's why they say the troops are the #1 enemy, because they know these are killing machines that are going to wake up to the fact that the evil empire took over America, and the fact that they're scared of the troops. And by the way, police, they hate you too. Anybody who's been taught to use force, and anybody who knows the secret that the veneer of civilization is very thin, and that you're not afraid to use violence, these little criminals hate you, as Henry Kissinger said, and want to kill you. And that's why they inject you with soft-kill cancer viruses when you're in the military. Now, there are ways to try to counteract that, but we've got it on record. Everyone that joins the military, unless they're part of an elite family, is given soft-kill binary weapon systems so that by the time you hit 40 or 50, you start degenerating. It's a self-destruct mechanism. You're a robot that's meant to shut down because they know you're going to become self-aware. Most humans, I found, are unconscious and are basically biological androids. When you become illuminated, and again, the Illuminati creates counterfeits of everything real. When you become awake, that's self-aware. Not all humans are really self-aware. They're trying to keep you from becoming self-aware with this whole control system. And with the military, they know you're becoming self-aware, so they're building kill switches in. What do you think about that, Jim?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, you know, this is corporate mentality taken to the nth degree. You create this killing machine, and then you program it to self-destruct, and that way you don't have to pay a lot of medical expenses and VA treatments and, you know, retirement, you know. Get rid of them. And all you have to do is, and you have, Alex, and the people who have followed you for some time, all you have to do is look at their own publications, look at the statements from people like Maxwell Taylor or Prince Philip, or look at some of the publications from the Council on Foreign Relations. I mean, they make no bones about it. They want to reduce the world's population by at least a third, maybe 2/3. And wait a minute, how you going to do that? You got to kill people, and that's what they're into.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of Saddam Hussein. CIA on record, put into power. That whole history's there, but not publicized. And he could go out and stand in front of 10,000 people with grenade launchers and AK-47s firing in the air. But the defense secretary says, disarm the Marines when my helicopter lands.
Exactly. Now, here's another disconnect. Wait a minute. Excuse me. My allergies are going nuts.
Oak, man, it's hitting me hard as well.
Yep. Okay, here's another disconnect. Now, think about this. We're in Afghanistan to begin with because we went in there to get Osama bin Laden. Well, oops, wait a minute. We didn't get him. If we did get him, according to the official story, we got him here, you know, last year. And we've already got him, and if you really study it, you'll find he's probably been dead since December of 2001. But anyway, so the cause celebrate for going to Afghanistan is no longer there. So what's the rationale for us keeping troops in Afghanistan, a country that's never been conquered by anybody, including the British Empire and the Russian Empire? All right? Well, it's because we say, well, we can't pull our troops out until the army, the Afghan army and the police forces are able to maintain control in that country, which sounds good on paper, but wait a minute, folks. Hadn't you been reading the papers? It's some of those army guys and some of those police guys have been shooting at us. They want us out of their country, and I don't blame them. I'd want Red China out of Texas, okay? And yet we don't seem to catch this. Oh, well, we got to stay there so we can train their people. What, train them so they can kill us and shoot at us? The whole thing's nuts.
Well, see, people are like, we're losing in Afghanistan. We're not, because we're not there. The global bankers have got our military there to get the $500 billion a year conservatively in opium. That again, they get exposed growing it. So they go, well, the troops are getting upset about growing the opium. We'll have them form up in front of Geraldo Rivera. We'll have them admit it on TV. And the psych warfare chiefs are like, what's the point of that? Don't you get it? Hide it in plain view. It loses its power.
That's right. And that's why, by the way, that's why the famous football star, Pat Tillman, you know, he told all his buddies, man, when I get out, I'm going to go home and tell everybody we're just over here guarding the poppy fields. And, oops, well, he shot in the head coming back from some routine mission by some snipers who just happened to have just joined his outfit. Come on, folks, wake up, smell the coffee.
Yeah, he was a big PR bonanza for him, but...
Going in, but they didn't want him coming out.
But in his murder, at first they launched, he charged single-handedly an al-Qaeda nest. Bin Laden might have even been there. Literally, he was incredible, the fire he took and how many al-Qaedas he took out. Turned out there was no one around. They killed him. He hid behind a rock, saying after they'd already shot him a few times, and they came up and they killed him.
Right.
And then the Army, the good news is the Army coroner, the colonel, would not lie and said this is homicide.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, a couple of taps to the head. I don't think those Taliban are that good of shots. Besides that, according to the reports I saw, he was heading back and he was waving his arms and he said, "Hey, it's me, it's Pat Tillman, you know me." Bam, bam, they shoot him. Come on, folks. Get with it. Of course, you know, then all they got to do is throw some money and have a TV special or some specially made movie and turn the whole thing around and put the, you know, and cover it all
Look
up.
at how they killed 5 members of Private Lynch's unit. The survivors were like, she hid, she didn't fight anybody. They're like, oh, you're all dead.
Right. Well, same deal. Hey, you know, a bunch of those guys that supposedly went in and got Osama bin Laden, well, gee, they got killed in a helicopter crash.
Yeah, they just crammed 23 of them onto an old rickety helicopter. They're like, but on the news, they were going to a rescue mission to rescue people in the Army. And then later it was like, well, that wasn't true.
Right.
And then I've talked.
I mean, I don't know why anybody believes anything anymore. I mean, hey, Alex, my motto has become, I don't believe anything's true until the government denies it.
Exactly. Hey, let's bring this up. Because it's so big, I want to go back to it. Soldiers asked to disarm during Leon Panetta's speech in Afghanistan, and they said for the safety of the Secretary of Defense. This is a guy who announced last week that, yes, the military is under UN command and the Congress has no authority over that.
Exactly. I'm sure his hidden thought was, oh, my God, what if they arrest me for treason? Because that's treasonous, folks. Okay? The Constitution says only Congress has the power to declare war. Now, they've abdicated that time after time, going all the way back to the phony Gulf of Tonkin incident, which didn't even happen. And then, but Lyndon Johnson says, our boys are floating in the water, and I've got to have the power to respond. So they passed the Gulf of Tonkin resolution in Congress, which gave him the power to wage war in Vietnam, okay? And it was all based on a lie and a total phony thing. And that's not some conspiracy theory. That was an article in U.S. News and World Report 10 or 15 years ago. The phony battle that led to war, okay? It's just fact. And but at least Congress acted, even though irresponsibly. But now Panetta, before Congress, says, no, we only send the military in when foreign organizations approve that, like the UN or NATO. Okay? A direct violation of the Constitution of the United States. And I know when I went in the Army, I took an oath to defend not the President, not the Secretary of the Defense, but the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign or domestic. And I'm here to tell you, Leon Panetta and about 3/4 of Congress are domestic enemies.
They are. I mean, by the very textbook, in fact, it's not just like